Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, everything really. My guest this afternoon can be seen in the hit reality TV show Total Bellas on the E! Network. JJ Garcia is with us. JJ, welcome to Popternative, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I understand a lot's going on in your neck of the woods this past year, so why don't you give us a refresher of what's happening in the world of JJ Garcia?
Yeah, well, my wife and I, we had our second daughter last Thursday, so just over a week ago. We had little Alice Jude, and then obviously, we're filming season 4 right now for Total Bellas. Has started a couple of ventures with Vacay Society, which a movement we're starting, and just a lot of exciting stuff.
Yes, no, you were telling me about Vacay Society. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so how it all really started was actually my wife Lauren. It'd be like a Monday, and it's I always try to have just a good time with whatever I do, and she's like, "Oh, vacation JJ's coming out," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, every day's a vacation, if you want to make it that way." Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, even if you go to work, you make the best of your opportunity at work or whatever it is. There's no reason to make it a negative, or even if you wake up negative, you have a chance to turn around and make it a positive day. So that's just sort of how it started, and my manager and I just started talking. He's also a good friend of mine, and we're like, we wanted to start something, and he's like, let's do Vacay Society. He's like, it's based off you with how you view things and how anything thrown at you, you handle it with stride and you make the best of it. So everyone's like, oh, it's a clothing line, and yeah, there's obviously gonna be clothes, obviously, hats, clothes, knickknacks, all this. But it's more of a movement is what we want to say. Yeah. It's a mindset. We want people who are part of it, that whatever they're doing, there's no lower class, middle class, high class. Mm-hmm. It is all one class. It doesn't matter the money you have or the money you don't have. It's how you take each day and you make it a positive day. And as I say, you make every day a vacation. So that's what it is, and we just want people in that mindset all come together, and hopefully we can grow into something big where we're all meeting up with these people, hanging out, having good times and stuff like that. So
really, really cool. What was kind of the origin behind the name then? Was that conversation with your wife about it every day being a vacation?
Yeah, and just because, even my handles, on social media it's the Vacation JJ, and my whole family, they all call me that now. They're just like, oh, Vacation JJ's here,
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does, right? Yeah,
for sure.
So that's what it's based off of, and I always just say, let's vacay, guys. Let's go have a good time, and let's whatever we're doing. So that's how it started, and we wanted to make it, bigger. So Vacay Society just sort of made sense.
And you're representing on the hat. I like the little palm. It's a palm tree on the V, eh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
that's some good stuff.
Little palm tree. Yeah. So it's a cool brand, collab with some really good people, and we have some collabs we already put together that even before he dropped, and I don't know how we pulled it off, but we did. Mm-hmm. But so some cool stuff's really going to be coming out, and we're hoping to drop next month. So
absolutely. So now I want to talk a little Total Bellas. Total Bellas essentially is a show on the E! Network, basically, that features your sisters, Nikki and Brie Bella, from WWE, and it kind of shows the family as well. I want you to kind of go through the exact kind of moment or week when you found out that it was going to be beyond just Total Divas, which was the one that featured all the wrestlers, and this one focusing on the Bellas and the Bella family. What was kind of going through your head?
Is this real? It's because we started getting asked to go on Divas here and there, and people were just really coming. They were liking our family. They were liking my mom, myself, my wife, and being on Divas. And so my sisters always wanted to spin off on our family, and they asked us, and we're like, cool. And to tell you the truth, for about it had to be a year and a half. It sounded like, oh, it's gonna happen, and it just never happened. So I'm like, man, we're doing this, and it just never happened. And then finally, they're like, guys, and this is literally what happened. my sister broke her neck, and um, pretty much just like my sister, it was going to get green lighted, but there's just like they're trying to figure everything out, and they're like, well, this is a good way to start a family reality show. It's like, hey, Nicole is an injury, and we're all going to go there anyways to support her and help her because I mean, it's my sister, it's my mom's daughter. So they're like, let's start filming now, and Lydia's within like 3 days, and like go. So we really didn't have much time to think, and my time in front of the camera had only been with divas, and so it was crazy. It was a lot to take in a very short amount of time, but it was obviously worth it. It's fun, and I like putting our lives out there. It's not easy. There's a lot of hate, obviously, and a lot of people don't understand reality, and that's fine. That's great. But we have also a lot of fans and support, which is amazing. So we've like my wife and I, we put our ups and downs on there. Nicole, Brianna, ups and downs, and some stuff's embarrassing, but I know it's relatable. People go through it, and that's what we want. It's like, hey, listen, other people are going through that just like you, and we're gonna fight, stay strong, let's do it together. So
For sure. Well, we've had I've interviewed in the past on Popternative a lot of other people from various reality TV shows and reality competition shows. So we've had like people from Big Brother and The Bachelor and Bachelorette, but we've also had like Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules on Bravo, and just like the drama, and a lot of the drama continues, I find, after the show is off. So like a lot of people now are live tweeting during the episodes, and there's a drama on the show, but then it's continuing on the phone, which is what I like to call second screen consumption, because you're watching the TV and you have your second screen with you all the time. What do you kind of think about that? What do you kind of think about social media as a double, it's double? There's a double-edged sword of social media.
it is. It's our way of communication. It's our main marketing tool. It's how we get everything. Unfortunately, it's how we get everything. But at the same time, it's great because, as you said, it's a double screen, right? It's right here. I could be on the road and still be caught up in current events and what's happening with my sports teams and my emails with my companies. So it's great, but at the same time, it does take away from real life in a sense of obviously family time. We'll catch ourselves on our phones like, okay, we got to put our phones down, stuff like that. But it's great though, because also what you're talking about is like, say Jax Taylor, or say like us, like we live tweet. People get to see sort of like what we're saying during the show. It's sort of cool. Like you're corresponding with the person that's on TV in a sense, and which I think is actually really cool, because we do respond to fans and we love talking to them. This stuff happened, it brings us back, and half the time we don't want to see the stuff that we we had to go through, but this last season was tough for my sister, but but we're still there for the fans, and I don't know, I think it just brings us a better connection with our fans.
What was the one thing that every time you're going to be on the set of Total Divas or Total Bellas, it's always going to be kind of like a learning experience. When I have a lot of actors and actresses that come on the show and they talk about, they've been doing it for 15, 20 years acting. But there's always going to be a learning experience. What are some of the things that you kind of learn from your experiences on Total Bellas, like behind the scenes type stuff?
You learn to first don't drink that much, because a lot of stuff might come out you don't want to. No, it's what do you learn like behind the scenes? It's tough with reality because we're not acting. There's everyone's like, oh, that's like fully scripted, and it's like, well, no, it's not. And to tell you the truth, and there's stuff that we reenact, right? Like if it's a good story, like, hey, listen, we haven't started filming yet, but last month this huge ordeal happened with Lauren. I'd like, well, let's just reenact that, and then we'll go into the reality of it. But we film a lot of reality, and so it's just, I don't know if you remember, but Josie bit John at John's house. We're just hanging out, and literally it just happened, the cameras happened to be there, and she literally bit him, broke his skin, all this stuff. It's like stuff like that you get to catch, and so it's hard. You just learn to go with the flow. And the number one thing you actually really behind the scenes is to support each other as cast members. I have to remember that's my sister, or that's my brother-in-law, Brian. you learn that we have to support each other, because the second we start losing each other, it's just going to be really, you're on your own, and you don't want to be on your own in this industry. And, so it's tough with the reality. It's just, you just go with the flow, I guess.
So I have to ask this: has there ever been any, you know, possibilities of JJ Garcia maybe getting in the ring one day and training to be a wrestler? Is that I knew you knew I was gonna ask that.
Yeah. So I did when I was about, how old was I? I was 21. I bulked up, got, big for me. I went down there. It just wasn't for me. Still, my mindset hasn't really changed. My body hurts as it is. I'm 32. I see what Brian goes through. All these guys go through. Dolph. He's an Arizona boy, and I just see what their bodies go through, and my body can't do that right now. And I have a family, and I'm more excited to go play catch with my daughters and run down a soccer field with my daughters, or go dance with them. I want to be able to do that. I just know if I get in that industry, I'm too crazy in the head, man. The second I got in that ring, I know I'd be top rope trying to do a front flip that I probably couldn't even do, and crack my neck. So, no, there's no ambition for it, and it won't happen. Actually, you can't say it won't happen. Money talks, but it's not in the future. No.
No, for sure. Maybe manager.
Maybe
but you
manager,
still.
yeah.
But the one thing people don't realize, and when I was like 8 years old, I didn't realize this, but when I was watching wrestling as a young kid, but it's like all the managers are trained, obviously. You know what I mean? Like they're all wrestlers, pretty much.
They're all wrestlers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the one thing that was like a misconception.
Yeah.
Another thing too is the grind of being, a WWE superstar. You see it with your sisters and Daniel Bryan and John Cena. It's just insane, like the nonstop every day. Has your sisters ever kind of? I mean, you've probably been around them at certain events, and they probably flew the family down to meet them. But what are some of the things that you've noticed about? I mean, that industry is not for everyone. I mean, it's nonstop, traveling and performing. It's crazy.
I've never seen an industry with such a grind. I don't think that I know of. There isn't, because I mean, like, you can say like, oh, baseball, because baseball, you'll go on a road trip and play 4 teams, so you're gone for whatever it is, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but you get to hang out in this city for 4 days, right? You get to hang out for the series. I mean, they're flying into Boston, and then not even Boston, then hitting, and then they get done with that show, they hop in a rental car and they drive 3 hours to another small town they're going to do a live show at, do the same exact thing 2 nights in a row, and then get smacked down. They finally get home on a Wednesday morning, and they're taking off on a Friday night. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And not even that, you're putting your body through hell. It's not like they're going to get massages or anything. It's like, no, you got to get in the car. They're trying to get 5 hours of sleep before they get back to whatever stadium they're at now, to put on a show for the fans. And I've seen it just wear down the strongest people, where it just breaks them. It does. But their mentality, that's how strong they are. They break, but you'll never see it, and they just get right back on the road. It's intense, and that's another reason why. I'm blessed. I work from home, and my wife works from home. We have our 2 girls here, so to not be able to see them every day and hang out, I think that'd be really tough as well. So that's another reason why it's like, I'm okay with not wrestling.
No, absolutely. So let's talk a little sports now. So what? Like I said, we've been following each other on social media for quite a while now, and there's a lot of sports tweets coming from your feed, and it's like different sports, like soccer, football, and everything. But what I find interesting is kind of the dialogues that could be created between different sports. But what I really love is like kind of the cross promotions between sports. That's always been a thing. And WWE has been a big driver of that, I find. You know what I mean? Like, they have, NFLers live at their shows. You know what I mean? That type of stuff, right? So I find that interesting. So I just wanted to know from your perspective, because I saw recently you like retweeted something from a player from Arsenal, in the WWE live event.
Boniek,
Yeah, and I find that's awesome. So what do you kind of think about that landscape? Because that landscape's never been, like, it's always been there, but social media has really elevated it, I find.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and what people don't realize is how many WWE fans are out there, right? So a person who's not a WWE fan has this perception on WWE and the fans of that there's one certain kind of people, and they're just so wrong. Every walk of life loves WWE. I mean, it's mind blowing, and that's the cross. I just say cross promotion. It's you see these soccer players that are front row. You see all these football players that are front row. I was just at SummerSlam, and of course I'm gonna blank on his name, but he was a night show host, and he was front row. And then the fat Jewish, he was there, third row, and so they're doing a great job, and it just shows. I think
John Stewart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. John Stewart. He was trying. I'm just
sorry,
like,
I had to think about it because it was gonna bother me.
yeah, and he was trying. I'm just like, there's so many people love wrestling, and what it's doing is opening the eyes, and that's also what the reality show did. I think is because people love reality. So you have the audience who went and watched, and this isn't sports, but it's obviously real on E's audience, right? Isn't WWE's, but then they got to see Total Divas, and like, you know what? I want to go see what these girls actually do on Monday and Tuesday night, and then so those people start watching wrestling. It just opened their eyes, and I think the sports do the same exact thing, right? Someone who loves football might think, oh, wrestling's fake, and it's all this and whatever, and then all of a sudden, hey, my favorite football player Brian Urlacher's there. Well, maybe I'll try it. I'll check it out. And then all of a sudden you have WWE fans like, have a little more respect for it, and both ways. So
no, absolutely, man. Well, man, I think we'll wrap up. But seriously, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, it's been great.
No, for sure. Now, usually say the ring is yours to plug away. Where can people follow you on social media? What can they kind of check out that's coming up? Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at the Vacation JJ. Come follow me and follow at Vacay Society. We'll be dropping next month, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. I promise you're going to want it, and there's going to be limited stuff every time. So you got to be quick because it's going to be going quick and going fast. And yeah, let's go Arsenal.
No, absolutely, man. I'm telling you, ever since the World Cup, I mean, there was a sale on FIFA. That's all I've been playing, man.
Yeah, you got to play with Arsenal, man. I'm telling you.
I started with West Ham, which is...
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
I was going to say United or Tottenham. Fine.
Yeah. Well, Arsenal was one of them. I don't know. I asked my buddy who knew more about soccer than me, who should I start with? I kind of want someone that's on the rise, you know what I mean, to build them up. So he said West Ham. But seriously, man.
He's right.
Oh, yeah, continue. Yeah.
No, I say he's right though, because they're buying a lot of players. So
absolutely. Well, JJ, thank you so much, man, and all the best, dude. All the best with season 4 of Total Bellas.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, everyone. Also, look for Total Bellas coming up later this year or either January. I don't know, but it's coming up pretty soon.
Cool, man. Awesome. Well, this has been Popturnative, youtube.com/Popturnative for all the episodes, the audio, the video episodes, and then Spotify, iTunes for the audio versions if you just want to listen. So until next time, this is JJ Garcia at PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popturnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popturnative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popturnative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.